Hello, chismosas y chismosos. Welcome to part 6 of the Alcatraz case. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. In 1992, a family friend named Fred Breezy said he ran into the three amigos in Brazil in 1975. Fred even provided a photo to prove it. In the photo, there's two men standing next to a hill that many say look very much like the England brothers. How much a reliable source Fred was, who knows? What we do know is that he was a drug smuggler who was doing business in Brazil at the time. According to his story, he ran into John England at a bar. The buddies caught up on life over drinks, and he was taken back to the England brothers' farm that had a lake. The brothers showed him how to body surf by holding onto a rope and being pulled by a boat. Fred said that he was told this was how they made their escape across the bay. He was told that the escapees had lassoed a rope onto a boat that the guards used to commute to and from the island. FBI records did provide the fact that a 120-foot rope made out of electrical cords had been stolen from Alcatraz. Fred passed away in 1992. The England brothers' uncle Alfred England received a prison sentence before he was up for parole in 1964. According to him, he was contacted by his nephews who told him that they were going to try to visit him when he was released. He was so excited to hear from them that he did not care. He was literally about to be released. Alfred tried to escape and was electrocuted by a security fence and died as a result. The England family believes that Alfred's death was actually a homicide at the hands of the prison guards. Their conspiracy is that the prison guards heard him boasting and talking about hearing from his nephews Clarence and JW, so they interrogated him, and when he didn't sing like a canary, they threw his body onto the electrical fence on purpose to make it appear as if he tried to escape and failed. Alfred's body was exhumed after Ken and David Widner produced a photo to a U.S. Marshal named Art Roderick. Ken and David were the England brothers' nephews. They had Christmas cards that the England family had received from the England brothers. They also had the picture Fred Breezy had produced of the guys that looked like the England brothers as well. They told the U.S. Marshal that they would give up those documents if Alfred's body could be exhumed and have it examined for signs of trauma. To exhume a body is to take it out of its grave, if you're wondering. Alfred's body was eventually exhumed and no signs of trauma were indicated. Investigators used the opportunity of having Alfred's body to get a DNA sample and solve another mystery, because in 1962, around the same time of the Alcatraz escape, a body was recovered from the San Francisco Bay. It was ruled as a drowning, but police were unable to identify him. Many speculated that this could have been the body of one of the escapees, but there was no actual proof. After the DNA sample was taken, investigators analyzed it and compared it to the John Doe / unidentified body. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, the drowning victim did not have any England family DNA. Therefore, it could not have been one of the England brothers. They also compared the DNA to one of Frank Morris's relatives, and it was not a match either. A forensic artist declared that the picture Fred Breezy produced with the England brothers was, quote, highly likely to be the England brothers, end quote. Even though the U.S. Marshal was not convinced, he is quoted saying, "I am still holding to my original opinion that until we have 100% confirmation they survived, but it's most likely the brothers drowned in San Francisco Bay. Forensic artists are not like DNA or fingerprints. It's not an exact science," end quote. Even though Allen West admitted to federal investigators and Alcatraz officials that he also planned to escape, he was never formally charged for his participation. He was transferred various times to several penitentiaries until he was released in 1967, but was shortly back in the sack, as by this point he was completely institutionalized and was arrested for grand larceny. While serving a life sentence at the Florida State Prison, he passed away from a stomach disease on December 21st of 1978 at the age of 49 years old. Clarence Carnes served a life sentence on top of a 203-year sentence, yet was paroled in 1973 at the age of 46. He also violated his parole and was back in prison. He died from AIDS in 1988. Bumpy Johnson was released on parole in 1963. He went back home to Harlem, New York, and died of a heart attack in 1968 at the age of 62. Although U.S. Marshal Art Roderick retired, he continues to investigate the case, as I'm sure many other investigators in the case have done. In October of 1973, Alcatraz became a tourist attraction. Each year, about 1.3 million people from all over the world make their way across the bay on a ferry to visit the rock. There have been many letters to authorities. Most letters have led nowhere that we know of. One in particular does stand out. A letter to authorities in 2012 said that it was one of the escapees who was old and sick and needed medical care. The letter said that he would turn himself in and provide a full confession in exchange for medical treatment. This, like most leads, also was a bust, led to nothing that we know of. I remember watching the movie Escape from Alcatraz as a kid and being so intrigued. I've been to Alcatraz before as a kid, a very, very long time ago, but most of what I remember was overshadowed by my extreme motion sickness on the boat ride. I get really sick on boat rides. I'd like to go back and do a tour of one of the most famous tourist attractions in the US, which luckily for me is just either a 20-minute BART ride or 30-minute drive depending on traffic. This time around, I'll make sure to take something for the nausea. We've reached the end of today's episode of Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. Thank you so much for coming down the rabbit hole where I currently live. Like I said, I love this case. There's not enough research I can do about it. As always, I respect and accept your opinions. I welcome all comments, questions, case suggestions. You can find full episodes of these recordings on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube at Bay Area Housewife of True Crime. Case suggestions, things like that. You could comment and let me know, or send me an email. Call me, beat me at yayareahousewife@gmail.com. And yes, that's Yay Area with the Y, like E40 said. I'll see you chismosas y chismosos in the next. Bye.